Hey guys, welcome to the Mother Runner Roundtable for Runner Click Pro. We are so excited you are here. We're going to be talking about everything at the intersection of being a runner and being a mother. I am Whitney Heins. I will be hosting this along with Lindsay McClelland and Carrie Miller. We are all mother runners. Just a quick about me. I'm founder of the Mother Runners, themotherrunners.com. It's a community and resource for moms who run. I'm also a certified running coach. I've been running since I was 6 years old. Just got more competitive in the past couple years. Ran a 2:56 marathon, but have been dealing with a lot of injuries. So right now I have a plantar fascia tear, which is not fun, but my hopes is to qualify for the Olympic trials and the marathon once I get healed and get over this injury hump. I live in Knoxville, Tennessee with my husband and my two beautiful kids who are 4 and 7 and my 2 dogs. And that's all about me. Lindsay, do you want to tell us about yourself?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm really happy to be here and to hop on with you wonderful ladies and, get to know the Runner Click community a little bit better. But my name is Lindsay. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, but I've kind of lived all over the place. So, Houston, Florida, Hawaii, you may know me from some of those places too. I am a newer mom. I gave birth to my son in January 2020. And I absolutely love being a mom, but it's come with its challenges for sure, especially becoming a mom in pandemic era times. I've run 21 marathons. Marathon 22 is actually this Saturday. And I was a swimmer in college. So long distance athletics has been part of my life for a long time.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that about yourself. And Carrie, can you tell us about yourself?
Sure. I'm Carrie Miller. I'm from Green Bay, Wisconsin. And first of all, I have a wonderful husband and 6 kids. My oldest is a freshman in high school. Then I have a 7th grader, a 5th grader, a 2nd grader, a little one in 4K, and a 6-month-old. So kind of the gamut of kids there. I'm a certified running coach as well. And I have a business called On Pace Coaching, where I coach runners of all abilities, 5K runners to 100-mile plus ultra marathoners. And secondly, my husband and I are the owners and founders of On Pace Race, where we help marathons by providing and running the pace teams. And we started that in 2017. And today we have about 50 races in 16 different states. So that brings us all over the place, which is awesome and keeps us busy, never a dull moment.
And like Lindsay, you've run a ton of marathons, right?
Yeah, it'll be number 22 this Saturday with St. George. And I started running marathons right after college in 2010.
And Carrie, you've run a lot as well.
Yep. I just ran Marathon 54 yesterday. And I've run 10 Boston marathons as well. And a couple 50 milers and a trail 100 miler too.
That is amazing. A lot of miles on your legs, both of you. That's amazing. So I thought a good subject for us to discuss is the challenges that come with being a mother runner. Being a mother runner is amazing and there are so many positives, but I think when you become one, you realize that there are a lot of obstacles that you have to get past just to get out the door. Time is not your own anymore. You have other people dependent on you. Things come up. Especially as a new mom, Lindsay, I'm sure you can attest to this. You're tired. When you have 6 kids, Carrie, you're really tired. So when you do have a window, you have to do a lot to just kind of muster that energy to get out there. I know a lot of us wake up like hours before dawn just to ensure that we have the time. So I thought that we could maybe each go around and discuss perhaps one of the biggest obstacle to being a mother runner, and then solutions that you have found to help you get past that obstacle so you can continue to run and do that for your mental and physical health. So, Carrie, we will throw it to you. What would you say is the biggest challenge that you've had as a mother runner?
I have to say time. And I think time is a challenge for everybody, whether they're a mother runner or not. But let's be real, with 6 kids and several businesses, it's just really, really tough. And it's great. I wouldn't have it any other way, but we have to schedule these runs in to make sure they happen. And for me, with a 6-month-old and a 4-year-old who's just in school for 3 hours a day, I really don't have any time during the day where I don't have a kid with me. So it makes it very challenging to stay in shape and to hit goals, but there's always ways to do it. So I think we kind of have to get creative and make running kind of part of our motherly life, not just something that's out there. So there's several ways to do that, to get creative. And I think I want to mention, this is kind of odd. People always ask me what kind of jogging stroller that I have. And I actually never run with my kids in a stroller. I will walk with them in a stroller, but I feel like running is my time. So I try to keep it that and keep it sacred. So I don't run with my kids, just a side note on that. And I think it's great for people who do, but I just try not to. So making it part of my mom's schedule, some of the things I do, I coach my kids' middle school cross country team. So I have 3 kids on that team, and that gives me time spent with my kids and also running with my kids. So I'm getting in a little bit of a workout there. When they're doing like intervals, I can do intervals too. Some of the kids are really, really fast. They're faster than me. So they can challenge me, and I can get a good out in myself as well. That's one way. We all know, thankfully, hopefully you have kids that nap. I do. And now that they're on a little bit more of a schedule, I know that in the afternoon, 12:30, I can jump downstairs on the treadmill and get a quality workout in for me. That's not the kids' workout. So that's always a tool. Also, I have a membership at a club that has childcare, which is huge. So I might go there in the morning and be able to get a quality workout in there as well. Other things we can do. Some of my kids are older now. I have a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old. So if I take a long run on Saturday morning, sometimes I'll go with my husband, who's also a runner. And my older kids are happy to watch the younger kids on that morning. And I can get something in that way. That's also, a good workout and time spent with my husband. And other than that, all my kids are runners, which is awesome. So 2 of my kids have already run a full marathon. I did the training with them. Even some of my younger kids are half marathoners. So there's lots of opportunities to get out there with my family, without my family. But I do have to look at my schedule and kind of put it in the calendar, just like any other meeting, to be sure that it gets done.
I think that's key, is making it a non-negotiable, because there are just so many things that are going to pop up that, are also important, that you're quick to take that time away from yourself and be like, well, I need to get to this meeting or whatever it is. So putting it on the calendar and then also having a contingency plan, I feel like is really important. Like the treadmill, I feel like is an awesome tool. Don't call it the treadmill, because it is a tool for you to get it in. It might not be ideal, but if your only time to run is when your kids are asleep or whatever, and you can't leave the house, being able to hop on a treadmill is awesome. Can you give us some tips on how to make it work with a runner husband? I have a runner husband as well. And so it took us a while, but being able to really communicate when we plan to run and learning that sharing is caring as far as time goes was really, really helpful to us.
Yeah, absolutely. We got into a schedule, and honestly, we haven't been able to run together until the last couple of years when our kids got older. So this was not an option. We were always kind of running separately. But we made Saturday mornings kind of our morning to do that. So the kids kind of know, because it's a schedule. It's kind of what we do. Well, when I was pregnant with our sixth child, I asked my husband to try to really help me to stay in shape. And we ran 10 miles every Saturday, even when I was 35 weeks pregnant and going super slow and having to stop. He was there with me. He didn't care how fast or slow we were going. He was just happy to get out there and to get me out there. And, we talked about it, we communicated about it, and we had a lot of fun with it. It was like our most favorite time of the week. So there you go.
So when you guys are running together now with a baby and a toddler, how do the older kids help out, or how does that work?
Yep. The older kids will help out at our house. I have one teenager and one almost there. And my two oldest kids are girls, so they happen to be very mature, and they help watch the other kids. Right. Mm-hmm.
One thing that I learned too was that it was okay to ask for help. Like, I would try to shoehorn in my time to run without having to lean on other people, because I felt like it was, I don't know, selfish to ask for help or something. That ties into what I will talk about, which is my issues with mom guilt, to be continued. But I learned that leaning on other people, asking for your husband, or if you have family, or even just like getting your kids comfortable with a babysitter, was really, really helpful. And that, like, there is nothing wrong with paying somebody to come over and watch your kids so that you can go have your run time, your me time.
Yeah, great point. And I did, especially when I was training for ultras and things like that, where you have many long runs. I did bring babysitters in. I did not feel guilty about it, because let's face it, once 3:00 comes and school is over, I don't know about you guys, but I am running around nonstop from 3:00 till bedtime. I have zero time. So if I'm going to take a couple hours in the day and get a sitter when most of my kids are in school, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And I feel good. I'm, working toward my goals, and I'm able to be a better mom to my kids at night when I am 100% dedicated to them.
That is so key to recognize that, because I think it takes a lot of people a long time to realize that taking that time to invest in yourself benefits everybody around you.
Absolutely. And I want to give an example. I coached a mom who wanted to do her first 100-mile run. She had 4 small children, a 10-year-old, they were all 10 and under, and twins who were 4, and a husband who was in the military and gone all the time. Okay. Like, just think about this. This is tough stuff. And she's got many 20+ mile runs. This woman, I give her so much credit. Sometimes she'd get so creative. She'd be outside. Her 10-year-old was riding a bike next to her. Her twins were in a double stroller that she was pushing. And then one kid was like doing homework at home while on FaceTime, while she saw him on FaceTime while she was running. Like, these are the things that we do. And she would, that made her so mentally strong that by the time the race came, like, if you can do that, you got the 100, right? It's all, it's mental and physical at that point. So,
oh, exactly. Like, that takes more mental energy than it probably takes as the amount of physical energy to go run 20+ miles.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. I'm weird in that when I see women out running that I know they're moms, I like think about all that it took for them to get to that point, because it's you go through a period of time where it is not easy, and it's like a circus to rearrange everything and to make it work just for that hour of alone time. And then it does get easier as the kids get older, but it requires a lot for sure. Any short tips? I'd like to talk in depth about getting your kids to run with you, but do you have any quick tips for people who have kids that are at that age now?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I do at our school, and it's kindergarten through 4th graders, we have a little program where we get them ready to run a 5K. In 6 weeks, they run our local 5K in Green Bay, and we have them run twice a week. They start with a 1/4 mile, We work up to that 3 miles. We have lots of parents helping, so it's okay. There's no pressure. Just keep it fun, have a snack afterwards, fun and light. By the time they get to that race, I mean, I have kindergartners running 5Ks. It's awesome. They run faster than they ever thought they could. They have a great time. People are cheering for them. That's honestly how most of my kids got their start, because I was in charge of that program. And so by the time my kid was in kindergarten, they were already running, and things just kind of went on from there. So I think, you don't have to have that program, but just no pressure. Keep it fun. Tell them you're going to get ice cream afterward, or, hey, we can go to the store and you can pick something out, or, buy a nice pair of running shoes. I think it's all about having them want to do it and not dragging them along. If you're going to drag them along, it's never going to work. So even if you have to wait a little bit longer till they're ready or excited, that's okay. For me, that's been the key to having them enjoy things. And now that with the pacing, we're at so many races, it's neat if, they're running the half marathon, the 5K, they're in that environment of seeing it too. So if they're watching you run, I think they get that excitement and that energy, and they want to do it too. They're watching your example.
Yeah, that's so cool. You don't think about how just exposing them to the race atmosphere can get them excited to run. And yeah, that's such a key point, to not force it. Like, meet them where they're at. They may not be interested at age 6, but at age 8, they may be really interested in it. My daughter loved it when she was 4 when she ran her first mile fun run, and it was amazing to watch. And I'm smiling because she's listening to me, but now she says running's too tiring, and she'd rather play soccer, and that's okay. And who knows? I mean, next year she may be into it again, and it just, oh, she's telling me now she is into it. So, it's just, it changes, and if they have that innate interest, you can foster it, but you never want to force it, because that's a great way to kill it off. Mm-hmm. Lindsay, do you have anything to add on the subject of finding time and making it happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely the scheduling is so important. Something that I think a lot of us, mother runners and non-mothers have struggled with over the last year and a half is, with the shift to a lot of people working from home, there's a lot of fluidity in work-life balance. And so definitely having that time where you schedule it in, even if it's more flexible, even if you can run at 9 a.m. when previously that was never something that was possible, just having it scheduled like a meeting, knowing what you're doing that day. And then having a backup plan is always, you never know when a kid's going to get sick and have to come home. And so I do like having the contingency plan of being able to run with the stroller. It's something that my son is still pretty little, and so he really enjoys it. He loves the movement, and he's not 2 yet, so he's just kind of like figuring things out. But I can already tell, like, he loves getting his shoes, and so definitely was taking notes about getting him ready to kind of maybe run a race in the next couple of years when he's ready. So but as far as finding time, it's just making sure that you prioritize yourself, and like you said, Carrie or Whitney, there's nothing wrong with paying a babysitter. I felt really guilty about that at the beginning of, am I really going to pay a babysitter for running? I don't have any family where I live, and so that's something that was really challenging. But childcare is just as important for work as it is for your mental health and your running.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. And I think it's so amazing that people are starting to realize that now, to recognize that. And maybe even more so because of the pandemic. If there's any silver lining, it's the benefits of taking that time for yourself so that you're healthy mentally, so that then you can give the best of yourself instead of what's rest of yourself to your family. So as a new mom, and someone who was pregnant during the pandemic, right?
I was actually, so I was pregnant right before the pandemic. And so right as I was hitting that like 6 to 8 week ready to emerge and start running again, was when COVID hit. So I was a new mom right when the pandemic started. But I think, it did present a lot of challenges for me personally. I was also in a brand new city. I moved to Charlotte when I was 7 months pregnant, and running was kind of one of the only things that I felt like I could control. But what I realized, and something that's really kind of struck true with me as a mother runner now, is the challenge of comparison. And I think that's something a lot of us get stuck in. And I think it's something that certainly applies to non-moms too. There's so much that happens on social media, and during pregnancy, it was something that I constantly felt myself like, oh, well, this person is this far along and they're still running X number of miles. And that was something that was really challenging for my mental health. And I speak about it because I think it's something that a lot of other soon to be moms, or even moms, when you hit that like 6 month or 6 week checkup, you're good to start running again. Every single person is so different. Every person's pregnancy is different. Everyone's postpartum experience is different. And I think that's something that like doesn't get talked about enough, is that there's such a broad spectrum of what everyone's experiences are like. And for me, I felt like I got caught in the comparison trap during pregnancy and really needed to force myself to take a step back, maybe even unfollow accounts that weren't really serving me, of people that, popped out a baby and had a 6-pack and wearing a bikini the next day. Those kinds of social media accounts just didn't serve me. And it took me time to get back, and not having a kind of in-person network because of the pandemic did make me, on one hand, rely heavily on social media. And there's so much value there, but it's also just making sure that you're turning it off at the right times, that you're only following people and connecting with people that are serving you in a positive way. And yeah, I mean, I think that's something that we all go through, is comparing ourselves for one way or another. And for some reason, I think moms get in that comparison trap more so than other people.
I am so glad that you brought that up, because I mean, it permeates in so many different ways, starting when you're pregnant,
Yeah.
which it's dangerous, because you need to do what's best for you, what's best for the health of your baby. And when you're comparing yourself to other people, it's not only going to make you feel awful, you could be jeopardizing your health and potentially your baby's health. And then, yeah, I mean, I see accounts now frequently of women running postpartum who are running crazy mileage after just having babies a couple months. And I'm just prior. And I just, I often think about how that's impacting other new moms. I mean, it's a fine line to walk, to be like, hey, look what I'm doing. And hey, that's amazing. You're amazing. That's great. But it's also opening up a lot of people for comparison, and potentially feeling bad about themselves, and potentially putting their health at risk because they're doing things too soon, or pushing their body too hard. So you said that what you did to, I'm sorry, as a mother runner, my daughter here with me due to COVID times. And so I think she just wants to say hi real quick.
Yeah. I want to know why your computer's on.
Oh, because my speaker doesn't work. Oh. Hi. Yeah. So this is Lindsay and this is Carrie.
What's that? Who's the big black space? Who's that?
No one. Okay. Let me finish this. Okay. I love you. So Lindsay, you said the best thing for you to do was to just kind of filter who you were following on Instagram.
Yeah, and to make sure that I was following accounts that also were informative. So there's a lot of really, really incredible resources out there that are physical therapists and experts And I found that being able to surround myself with people that could give me information that was fact-based and evidence-based rather than, someone who has X number of followers on Instagram was extremely valuable. So really curating who I was following, so I was getting really great knowledge in, and then also making sure that I was also connecting with people. I think that's something that we've all lost a lot of. Races are finally back, running groups are finally back, but for a year we didn't have any of that. And for me as a new mom, I felt like it was really isolating. It's isolating enough as a new mom, but if you're also a mom who's a runner that is so used to running with people and having that social connection and building relationships through shared miles together, the pandemic was really challenging for that. And so, on that flip side, the positive side of social was that I was able to join different communities and get to know people. I'm on the Brooks Running. They have their Run Happy Ambassador team. And that was such a positive light for me. We have a Slack channel, like a message group where the team was able to connect with each other. And we had virtual events and races. And it gave me an opportunity to, even though I wasn't connecting with people in person, to be able to connect with people online. And even in like non-pandemic times, I think being a new mom is really isolating because, like we just talked about, the time change. You may not always be able to meet your run group at 6:30 p.m. because that's bedtime or dinner time or whatever. And so as a mom, I've found myself running alone a lot more than I did pre-mom times. And I love solo miles. I like to catch up on my podcasts and do all of that. But there is something special about running with other people and having that personal connection. And I think that's one of the great things that online communities like Runner Click can offer is being able to find connection with people as a new mom, or not a new mom, just a mom runner. And build relationships with people that are going through some of the same things that you are, because it can be just so liberating to know that you're not alone in the challenges, even if you're putting in the miles solo.
That is why I founded the Mother Runners, was because I used to run by myself all the time, and that's what I was used to. And then I started running with fellow mother runners after my second was like a year old or something. And I was struggling alone. And then talking to other moms, I realized that none of what I was going through was unique, and that they had, well, first of all, just talking about it helped, and realizing that you weren't alone. And then second of all, they had solutions that could help me that I didn't even think about, or didn't think that I deserved to, like we said, pay someone to come watch your children so that you can have that time. So I totally agree with you that the community and it's there on Runner Click. It's there on Instagram. The Mother Runner community is amazing on Instagram. And it's crazy how you connect with people online and you feel like you know them so well. And that sounds so weird, but I've met so many amazing people through whatever hardship, if it's kid stuff or currently, being injured, which can be very isolating. So yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think that's such an excellent point that you can find that community and it can help you through tough times, but you have to be careful about where you're looking.
Absolutely. And I think now, like, it's just so exciting because we are in a place where, things are improving for the most part with the health crisis, and races are happening again, and more people are getting vaccinated, and we're able to go and have these experiences in person. And there's nothing more special than meeting someone you've developed a relationship with online and meeting them in person. And that's something that I'm really excited about personally, because this is going to be my second marathon postpartum, and I get to run with a team that I've never met anybody in person. We've just connected online. And so there's these really great moments and opportunities in races to connect with other people. I have so many great memories from races where I've met somebody on the run, and then we've seen each other at another race before, and connected online and building those relationships organically. So I'm really excited to be entering this kind of new space of races happening again, and being a mother runner now, and being able to connect with other moms who are marathoning too.
That's really cool. That's exciting. I'm excited for your marathon this weekend. It's going to be great. And so when you became a postpartum runner, had you at that point already figured out that, okay, watching these or viewing these accounts are detrimental to my mental health? And so you had already found the informative accounts and like community building accounts that you were looking for?
It was a little bit of a mixture. I think there were times, so another kind of wrinkle in my pregnancy story is that I was diagnosed with cervical cancer when I was just like 9 weeks pregnant. I had actually just run a marathon, went to get my pregnancy confirmed in the routine pap smear, as some precancerous cells came up, and everything is fine now, and I'm healthy, and it's all great. But it was a really scary time to be going through something like that while also pregnant. And so there was just a lot of kind of complexity within my pregnancy. And I felt like running was one of the only things that I could control. And there were things that I pushed myself to do that my body wasn't ready for. Like I definitely tried to run more miles, and my body just completely shut down and said, no, we're not running. Like you've got really bad sciatica, the baby's sitting right here, and we're just gonna walk. And I had to get comfortable with that. And it was kind of at that point in my third trimester that I took a step back and started kind of going through that exercise of unfollowing. And then I had to relearn that again. You know, I went through, I was 5-6 weeks postpartum and trying to start running again. And then had surgery, a cone biopsy, to remove the cancerous cells at 8 weeks postpartum. And so then I had to take another extended break from running. And it was that extended break that I think, first of all, gave my body time to heal, but also gave me that push to say, okay, well, there's literally nothing that I can do about this right now. There's no races to train for anyway, because we're in a pandemic, and my doctor says I can't run. So let me take a step back and see what I can do. And through that, I also found an incredible pelvic floor physical therapist who happens to also be a runner and a bar teacher. And I've been taking her classes virtually every week since then. And so I think for me, there was a lot of forcing. I was trying to force myself to do more because I'm a very competitive person by nature. And it was I had come up against a brick wall because of either something with my health or, my body. And it was those moments of pushback and resistance where I had to then look back internally and say, well, why am I thinking that I have to do these things? And every time it went back to, it's because of what I'm consuming online.
I can totally relate to the whole forcing thing and how that ties into being competitive. And I mean, I think so many of us as runners are like that. And then we have to stay in our own lane and realize what's good for us may not be good for another person or vice versa. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Carrie, do you have any thoughts on what Lindsay said, or just kind of comparison as the thief of joy and how it's just a dangerous thing?
Yeah, I think important to keep in mind now, I've gone through 6 pregnancies and they've all been different. So just like every person is different, every pregnancy is different. When I had my first child, I could not run through that whole pregnancy. So, and that just, it was what it was. Some of them I have been able to. So I think the key here is really listening to your own body. And we as mothers have to do that more than other people. Like our body tells us what it needs and what it can do and what it can't do. And I think as long as we stay in really good communication with our doctors and listen to what they have to say, maybe, I know for me, it was important to have a doctor who was also a runner, if that's possible. They understand a little bit more, like that you want to run and that's okay. And I was really careful to not post running things on my personal page when I was pregnant and afterwards, because I know, Lindsay, what you're talking about. And I have felt like that too. So I kept the running like to my business page, like the on pace race, the pacing. If there was running for me, that's where it went. It didn't go on my personal page because I was cognizant of that.
Yeah. That's awesome that you are. And I think it is important for us to, even if you are pregnant or postpartum or whatever it is, to kind of add that disclaimer that, you recognize that you are very fortunate to be able to run through your pregnancy, or that everybody's different. Every pregnancy is different. I know my two felt very different as well. It's just, and I think unless you've been pregnant more than once, or even just once, you don't fully appreciate that. So I talked a little bit about my challenge, but what really blindsided me as a mom was the mom guilt. And I feel like it's kind of always there in the background, and I'm always trying to silence it, but I've come up with some good tools to help. But my daughter, my firstborn, she didn't take a bottle. She was the first person. I worked out of the house for the first year of her life, and she was the first baby in the daycare to like starve herself all day. Like she would take one look at a bottle and scream her head. All she wanted to do was nurse. And so it was super tricky first working outside the house, but then also trying to run, especially when she was a baby. She was just super attached to me, wanted nothing to do with anybody else, loved nursing. And it like literally my husband would have to pull her off of me so that I could go run a couple miles. I wasn't even dreaming at the time of training for anything long. And then I would often get the frantic phone calls of, come back, she's crying so hard, she's hyperventilating. And then, it'd be like an impromptu speed workout or something to get back to the house. And I would try the stroller runs as well. She was a very early walker, so those didn't last super long. But it wasn't until I first started running with other moms and realizing that I wasn't the only one that had these types of challenges. Also like, the constant middle of the night wake ups, wanting to nurse or just be close to you sort of thing. Like that wasn't unique to me. I was just not being able to, or not having to suffer alone helped so much. And realizing that I didn't have to do it all alone and that I could ask for help. And also recognizing that it's a stage and it's not going to last forever. And so, moms who are struggling right now to find that time and also just balance sleep and everything that they have to do, because oftentimes the only time we have to run is at like 4 a.m. or something like that. Realizing that it's not going to be like that forever. And you will go through these different stages, and that noticing that really, really helped me as well. But I don't know, have you guys struggled with mom guilt, or if you have, is there any advice that you want to offer to those listening?
I think it's just the, reminder that if I'm going to be a great mom, I have to take care of myself. And if I'm not doing everything that makes me healthy, then I can't be a great mom for him. And one of those pillars is running for me. So it's making sure I get a good night's sleep, making sure I'm eating well, making sure I'm hydrated, and making sure that, I'm getting I'm getting my workout, because I'm a happier person and a better mom when I'm able to run. And I also think Carrie is the leading example of this. But
exactly what I was thinking.
when your kids see that you are active, like that sets such a great example for them. And I already noticed my son, like, I put on my shoes and he wants to put on his shoes and he wants to go outside. And I think just starting that lead by example early, it's just such a great way to get them excited and set good habits, so that they're not just seeing you on your phone or seeing you watch TV, or making sure you're modeling behavior. And it's a great behavior to model.
In the example, I mean, it goes even beyond like living a healthy life. It's taking the time for yourself. They see you setting goals. They see you persevering. They see you working hard towards those goals, which obviously is impactful in all areas of life. And yeah, I think that's such a great point. And it's something that I also realized that helped me combat the mom guilt when, those evil voices would be like, oh, your baby's crying and you're being so selfish because you're not going to give up your run to be with her. But recognizing that over time, that's going to have an amazing impact. And also it's going to make me a much more patient, better, fun mom. And I think that is a common thread through all mother runners of why they go through what they go through to run, is that when they come back from that run, more often than not, they are a happier, healthier, more patient mom. So thanks for bringing that up. Carrie, with 6 kids, I mean, have you, I would imagine you've probably conquered mom guilt by now.
No, I don't think you ever conquer that. I wish I could say, oh yeah, there's none of that. I feel good about what I do, because you can always be doing more as a mom. You can always be doing more as a runner. Really, for me, and what I stress with the people who I coach, women or men, is it's the balance of life. There's some seasons where we need more, me time, or we have time for, we have more time for that. And there's some seasons when you have a newborn that it's really hard. Our runs are shorter, but it's all about the balance of life. And like you said, this too shall pass. Times change, schedules change. It's just a fluid kind of thing. And I think if we can just be aware of what we need, what our bodies need, how our family is flowing, and keep changing along with it, we'll be successful.
That is beautifully put. Is there anything you guys want to add on this topic? Or just challenges in general?
I think there is always going to be challenges, but running is, at the end of the day, it's what makes us happy. It's what makes us, excited to set goals. And I think being a mother runner is worth every challenge that's put forth.
I totally agree. It breathes life into pretty much all we do, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would just add that, as there's seasons in life, there's seasons in our personal running goals too. I feel that maybe 5 years ago, it was more about me and setting PRs and doing all the things. As my kids have gotten older, it's more about them. I have the knowledge to help them and running with them. And maybe it's less about me, but more about helping others. And that's okay too. So, there's just different seasons in our own running as moms.
Oh, that's a very important point. Thanks for bringing that up. I look forward to those years down the line with my two. That'll be fun. And it may be running and it may be something else, and that's great too. Well, thank you guys so much for having this discussion. And I want to thank everybody who's was able to tune in. And please be sure to comment on any topic you want us to discuss. Nothing is off limits, because we want to get it all out there and help you all be the best mother runners you can be. So I know that on behalf of Lindsay and Carrie, we're all just really excited to be able to do this. So thank you guys for talking with me.
Thank you.
Go.